Trustee King Shaw.
Trustee King Shaw.
Trustee King Shaw.
Trustee King Shaw.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Yuna. I am a third-year bio major here at UMass. And I guess what I wanted to talk about was what the HIV/AIDS education program and the discussions we had at the hostel meant to me. The 3-day retreat that we went on was definitely one of the most rigorous but rewarding experiences that we had on the trip to South Africa. And the two main things I took away from it were lessons about vulnerability and empathy. I always thought empathy was just understanding what someone else is feeling, but I came to realize that being understanding how someone else is vulnerable is a huge component of being empathetic. And it was one of those things where it took me an entire semester to realize. It's been on my mind heavily, and I didn't realize it until I was writing the final volunteering reflection for Rajni's class, where I understood that vulnerability wasn't just about being in a situation that you're not used to, but it was also about being really afraid of the unknown. And a lot of the fear comes from uncertainty. So it's not just being able to understand someone's situation, but being able to understand that fear of uncertainty. And there was this really contagious passion among the UWC students that it takes a hold of you and you can't really let it go. And it's something that kind of ingrains itself in you, even though we spent 3 days there. It's like this lingering passion for caring about other people that really hits home, especially since I want to go into healthcare. It's something that I can carry with me throughout the rest of my life. Another thing that I also really appreciated was the discussions we had at the hostel. Even though we attended the same events and went to the same places, we all could take away something different from it. And being able to bring in our own perspectives and discuss different takes on what we had was super, super interesting and really helpful in interpreting and appreciating what we were doing there.
Hello everyone, my name is Ed McDonald. I'm a senior here, ready to graduate. I'm an economics major. I'm really excited to talk to you guys today. So part of South Africa that I will be talking about is when our class met with Zaki Akhmat. He is a well-known gay HIV positive activist in South Africa. He's the co-founder of the Treatment Action Campaign, which is very involved in making resources available to people with HIV and AIDS in the townships, especially in South Africa. I really wanted to talk about Zaki specifically because of kind of how courageous he was. He announced that he had HIV/AIDS. He was open about being gay in his community, and he's someone that really stood up for a lot of rights for South Africans that felt that they weren't exactly getting where they should be with the new constitution and new government. After apartheid ended, Zaki wanted to make sure that all these promises by the ANC were really visualized and complete. The day we met him was a pretty hot day. Walked down Long Street to where he's working currently. We didn't really get a chance to talk to him about his activism HIV/AIDS because he's so focused on the rights he wants to fight for now. Right now, he described the local policing and the crime rates in South Africa, especially Cape Town and the townships surrounding, specifically Khayelitsha. He really, really wants to make sure that these corrupt police aren't really taking advantage of these poor people. He described a lot of different conditions in these townships. After we delved a little bit into that, we talked a lot about just being a universal citizen and internationalism, not being a citizen of one place like me being a citizen of the United States. And I think that really something that has stuck with me from the trip, looking at the world from a worldly view. I've never traveled prior to this trip besides Canada, and I've never imagined I'd be able to take advantage of an opportunity like this. But he really just discussed, working towards a unified future, more like it's not about rights of a certain citizen of a certain country. It's about rights of humanity in general.
Hi, I'm Christina Vanderkloot. I'm a nursing major and I graduate this December, so I have one more semester to go. Yay! First of all, I wanted to thank you, Trustee King Shaw and Mrs. King Shaw, for your generosity. Without your assistance, we would never have been able to go to South Africa, and it's really appreciated by all of us. I'm certainly not the only one. Um, one of the things we did in South Africa that moved me the most was visiting Robben Island, which of course is where Nelson Mandela, among many other political prisoners, were held. And what's striking is that the island is incredibly beautiful and it's really, really peaceful and quiet there. It has $1 million view of Cape Town and Table Mountain across the water, but it has a very ugly history. The prison itself is very oppressive, and when you realize that the prisoners were forced to build it themselves by hand, it's totally chilling. The cells are only about 6 feet square, and there were no toilets, no running water in the cells at all. The prisoners basically just had buckets to use as toilets. And for many years, they didn't even have beds. They just had these thin pallets on the floor that they had to lie on. When the prisoners first arrived at the prison, they were completely stripped of their identity. Of course, this was all part of the process of breaking them down completely. They were assigned a number, and that's the only way they were addressed. Um, and the person who told us about all these things was Tulani, our tour guide, who's actually a former prisoner. I believe all the guides at Robben Island for the prison itself are former prisoners. So of course, it granted the whole process of the tour an immediacy and legitimacy that reading an article or watching a documentary just couldn't give me. We also had the opportunity when we were on Robben Island to see the limestone quarry where the prisoners were used as forced labor. And there's a cave there. And the interesting thing is that cave is basically the birthplace of the Constitution for the current free and democratic South Africa. I also wanted to touch briefly on my volunteer experience this semester. I'm a massage therapist actually by training, and I've been volunteering every week at the Boston Living Center. I massage the members of the Boston Living Center who are living with HIV/AIDS. So it's been a very, very rewarding experience, and I've actually committed myself to a year of service there at least, actually. And I would never have known about the Boston Living Center or their holistic program if it weren't for this class. So I'm really happy about that too, that I have a chance to give back to this underserved population.
Hi, my name is Sam Schwartz. I'm a psychology major and I'm a senior graduating this year. The retreat was the most powerful experience. We talked to students about anything from race to political issues going on there to HIV issues, obviously, which is what we were mostly talking about during the retreat. It really gave me a better perspective of what it was like to be a student in South Africa, which was really cool and unique experience. I don't think I would have had another chance to be able to talk to a student in my same shoes, basically, but in a totally different country dealing with totally different issues than I have in my life, which was really eye-opening. There was one particular experience we had during the retreat where we had to walk in somebody else's shoes. That was the most eye-opening for me. We had to write our own footsteps, which involved the first two footsteps were things our highlight and low life before or during high school. The next two were a highlight and low light of our lives after high school. And the last two were our goals, and the last one was what's in our way to get our goals. And it was a really powerful experience walking around and reading some of the South Africans' footsteps. When we got home, I really couldn't stop thinking about what Castro was doing in South America. She was one of the people we had come and talk to us in the fall. And a lot of her work involves working directly with the country that she is trying to impact and helping them change their healthcare system the way they think their healthcare system should be changed, which is an important thing to think about, is that when we're trying to give foreign aid, you don't want to tell the countries what they need to do and impose our own ways on them, is to really help them figure out what their way is and help them succeed to help their people, really. So really, I want to make a difference in my field, which is working with children with autism spectrum disorders, and a lot of Castro's work makes me think about this kind of thing.
This was an extremely thought-provoking and life-changing experience, and this is something that I will definitely carry with me throughout the rest of my life.
This trip meant a lot more to me than a lot of things I've carried with me at UMass Boston, and I hope it continues. Thank you.
Amazing, incredible, life-changing.
My one biggest takeaway from this trip is to keep exploring other countries.
For all these reasons, we thank you, Trustee King Shaw.